Howdy, everybody. It's Kinetic Aesthetic time, and it's Tuesday, so you already know it's sports talk time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mr. and Lady, thank you all for tuning in. I am your hostess with the mostest, the man they call Germ. You already know that, so without further ado, let's give you a little warm up on some of these topics so we can go right into it. First up, we are going to be talking about drama that is going on inside the NFL with one of our head coaches of the New England Patriots and a longtime reporter by the name of Dianna Russini. And it's just been scandalous stuff, and we're going to get all into it. After that, I'm going to hit you with another dose of NFL drama. This time, it's going to be relating to some more like legal stuff. It's going to be related to the whole TV and streaming setup that they have going on right now, and how, because of a little whistleblower at one of the companies, there might be some changes are brewing. And lastly, but not least, we're going to finish things off with my NBA playoff predictions. Can't wait to get into some of those, and I think it might be rather boring based off some of the teams who are at the top being just the cream of the crop, but I think either way we're going to be in store for some good old-fashioned, just fun playoff basketball. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and stop all the yapping. I'm going to let you all go ahead and get to getting comfortable. So prop your feet up, get a snack, just get comfortable because sports talk is coming at you right now. All right, everybody. So first off, what the story we're going to talk about first is the case of Dianna Russini. She is a longtime reporter of the NFL. I believe she used to work for ESPN, but now she works for The Athletic, a company that is owned by the New York Times and all their media. And that's really not important to this situation. The big scoop is that she got caught up just, getting real cozy and looking real close with NFL head coach Mike Vrabel. And it's probably not that big of a deal if they were both single, if they both just had nothing else going on in their free time. It would still offer up some integrity questions about their journalistic principles, getting close to somebody who's a potential scoop, as we're going to get into later. But the real scandalous thing about this is that both of them are married. She is married to a Shake Shack executive. I don't know too much else about the guy. And he is married to a woman who he's been with for a long ass time. I believe it's like a college or high school sweethearts type of thing. And to top it all off, they both have kids in these situations. So it's real just messy. It's something that I, much like a lot of the other NFL media, people who actually know both of these people and have, talked to them, known them. I've even heard Adam Schefter and others like him really just, they don't even want to talk about this. Nobody wants to touch it. And it's the type of thing where the only thing you're going to really be able to get out of them is that, I feel sorry for the families involved. As do I. But that is not the real issue for me, and the real reason why I even really decided to talk about it is because it goes past that with her. And I am going to really just say this before I get ahead of myself. It's wrong that she is going to be the one that takes the brunt of this, and that he is, as we're already seeing, really going to probably just skirt off and move on. I mean, at worst, he's going to get memed on during the season. He might have some people just, say some shit to him when he's out and about. But she's the one who already has, I'm going to just tell y'all now, she's the one who's been pulled from her reporting duties, who's had all of her scoops and everything like that questioned. Because of not just this, you've got allegations that are resurfacing now about, I don't know if it was a current NFL GM or an ex-NFL GM, but his wife came out and accused the GM, I should say, of having an affair on her with Dianna Russini. And to top it all off, Dianna Russini was doing this in exchange for information on the team, for scoops. And, that's like I said, she was getting her scoops in some real twisty and turny ways, apparently, because that is the crux of what a lot of people are trying to accuse her of now. And it doesn't help that report came out and that someone had come out and said that about her. But the worst thing that I hate about all this is that now it's going to bring into question a lot of other women who probably are on the up and up, who really are just reporting on sports because they love them. It's going to give that certain asshole, we all probably know one in our lives, unfortunately, who is going to just use that as an excuse to just be like, yeah, she's just there for such and such reason. She's just there to, to do some Dino. She's not really there because she loves sports. And that's a damn shame, because it's hard enough for women in the world, especially when it comes to just getting further along in the workplace without being accused, without having to feel like you are compromising yourself. So for her to be in this situation and for that to have this, and I'm not, because it hasn't happened yet, so I don't want to just say that and just accuse the world of being a shitty, horrible place before it shows itself to be, even though, I mean, I know it can. But I do feel like this is going to be the type of thing that's going to give some of the worst types of people we know reasons to call into account every other female journalist that they think of or hear of, especially when they say something or do something that they don't like. It'll be, oh, that's just another Rossini. She's just there because of such and such. And you already see it happen. I mean, we already see it in other sectors of the world. I mean, listen, we've already come to a point in this country, specifically the United States, where we've seen that you can put the worst type of person in a race against just a literal woman, like a woman politician, and you already know what we're going to end up choosing. So I say all of this to say Diana Rossini may have potentially pushed women's journalism further back, and it's fucked. It's a damn shame. I hope that it is not the case. I hope that people are able to look past that. I hope that, both of them figure out what they got to figure out. If they like each other, I hope they like each other. And if not, leave your fucking partners. But aside from that, that's all I really got to say about that one, because that's messy enough, but it's not the only messy NFL story that I want to talk about. Okay. Now that we've talked about the drama involving the coaches and the reporters, let's shift over and talk about the drama involving the business side of things. So for those of you who do not know, back on April 10th, a report came out that the Department of Justice had actually decided to open up a probe into the NFL and the way that it broadcasts its games. Basically, what they are trying to figure out and find and look into is if the NFL is harming its consumers with the way that it broadcasts its games. Basically, what this is looking into, to break it down even further, is to just really take a look at, like, are the NFL right to be having their consumers be forced to buy ESPN Plus, CBS Sports, ABC Sports, Fox Sports, Netflix, and all these other streaming services just in order to have every game available to them? It's something that I have definitely say that a lot of people have noticed. Like, I haven't seen it be talked about too much in media, but I noticed it. But I will tell you, you have real life conversations with people who are fans of the NFL. Nobody likes this shit. Nobody's a fan of how you have to have 4 or 5 different streaming services just to be able to watch your favorite team play if you're not in that home market anymore. Me being a Bears fan, it has been increasingly difficult for me to watch a game over the years. The further I move away from Illinois, and anytime I'm not really in the Midwest, it's a pain in the ass to try to find a game without having to just go illegally pirate it on the internet, which I am not encouraging, by the way. Make sure you watch the games the right way, respectfully. Open up your TV or just, buy the app. Don't go and just search up sites that will give it to you for free and not force you to have to spend a whole bunch of fucking money just to watch one game for one day of the week. But going back to what I was saying, the NFL is being investigated for it. The Department of Justice is looking into it, and it raises some very interesting topics and conversations. Now, if you can't tell already, I'm just not a big fan of the way that things are at the moment. I don't like that you have to have all of this shit just done to be able to see your team play. And hell, even if your team isn't playing on Sunday night or Monday night and you're not in that state, you're probably just not going to be able to see them without just like going and looking up some shit on the internet. And that's clearly a problem. But when the Department of Justice gets involved, that is how you know that even motherfuckers in Congress, even motherfuckers in the U.S. government are saying to themselves, this is wrong and we can't allow this to continue. Because a big issue that they are trying to have happen, they are trying to potentially repeal the NFL's limited antitrust exemption. Now, pretty much, I'm just going to break this down, just doing a too long didn't read. pretty much what that is going to mean is that they are going to take away some of the protections the NFL has that allows them to get away with doing some of the, I don't want to call it criminal, but from the monopoly-like shit that they do. Because at this point, this is a monopolized industry, American football, and the NFL is definitely using its influence, it's using its power and control over the sport to just force everybody to have to go and do things the way they want to do them. If they want to force Thursday night games to only be allowed to Amazon and Prime and have them pay them billions of dollars for it, they're going to do that. If they want to force NBC to have to pay billions of dollars just to get the Sunday night games, they're going to do that. Same thing with ESPN and NBC, and not NBC, but ABC. Same thing with all these other companies. And yes, I'm not trying to cape for these companies. I'm not trying to cape for all of these streaming giants or anything like that. But it only hurts us in the end, because it's not fair that I have to spend all this money for ESPN Plus account, then go get a Netflix, then go make sure I have fucking Fox Sports available and everything else, just to make sure that no matter what happens, I'm able to see the Bears play on Sunday. And I haven't even touched on Sunday Ticket and how fucked up the price for that is. So it's very understandable why they're doing it, how we've gotten to this point. And the only other thing that really needs to be said is that this isn't going to be something that happens overnight. This is not going to change the way the NFL games are experienced for probably the next 2 to 3 years. It's something that we're going to have to watch and follow closely, because there's a chance that the NFL could win the case. Based off everything I've read is that, and shit, it's not the NFL just lying when they say they are the most fan-friendly in terms of making sure that their games are available to everyone. And it may not feel that way, but I will say that the NFL is still the one sports entity that I know of in this country that it is never too hard when the NFL is in season. It is never too hard to at least find a game. You might not be able to find the game you want to watch, but it is definitely possible to find a game. So I guess the thing that my takeaway from this and what I'm going to hope happens, I hope that eventually the NFL is able to just come to their senses. They're able to see that just doing what they're doing, yes, it's going to make you more money in the long run, but it's going to hurt the league. Because all you're doing by pissing off your fans, by forcing them to do that, eventually people are going to just going to tune out. People are going to stop watching, and it's just not going to work their way. So I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to keep getting away with this. I don't know how much longer the fans are going to allow them to get away with it. To be honest with you, even after the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, when you had all the conservative fans getting pissed off, and even then when you had other fans who were getting pissed off because of what they did to Colin Kaepernick, it didn't really affect them. It didn't hurt their ratings. It didn't hurt their bottom line. So to be honest with you, we really just have to hope that Congress is going to start to just enforce the law on their asses, because that's our best bet. Buddy, we have had enough time talking about the NFL, so it's time that we shift over to NBA, because it is the end of the regular season, and y'all know what that means. That means that we are very, very close to the start of the playoff tournament, and after that, it is nothing but playoff NBA basketball, one of the most exciting times of the year if you're a big fan of basketball in general. It's the time where everything gets real interesting, legends are made, icons are born, everything like that. Now, to start off, I want to talk about the East, and I'm not going to lie to y'all, I'm talking about it first because I really think that no matter who comes out of this side of things, they're not going to beat whoever comes out of the West. There's too much heat, there's too many talented teams on that side, so I talk about the side that I think doesn't really have as much of a chance, and that's, I'm really going to have to start talking about the East. So to start things off, you've got Detroit as the number 1, you've got Boston at number 2, the Knicks at number 3, Cleveland is number 4 with Toronto with the number 5 seed, then Atlanta at 6, the 8th are still to be determined, of course, because of the play-in and everything, but the way this season is going, I'm probably going to expect the Hornets to come out of that playoff tournament on that side. Not really certain who's going to come out between Orlando and the 76ers, but I guess I would lean towards the 76ers. But either way, those teams at the bottom of the East, they have literally no chance. They're just playing to play and get some extra paychecks, I guess. Really, on the East, it's going to come down to Cleveland and Boston. Now, when the year first was starting, I was a big fan of the Knicks. I had a lot of hope in my heart that they were going to be able to surprise people and go on that run. As y'all can tell, I don't feel that same way anymore. It's not as much necessarily that I don't have a lot of faith that they are a good team that can go all the way. It's just that I feel like their road and path there is just going to be a little bit too brutal. That first round matchup against the Hawks is probably going to be the most unpredictable first round series in this entire NBA playoffs to start off. I have attention at least to the Hawks just because of the amount of wins they've been going. They've been very hot since the All-Star break. Nobody has more wins than them except I think maybe the Thunder and the Spurs. So with all that in mind, I really wouldn't be surprised if they come out and they are able to take this series. Like I said, I don't think that they have a chance of beating Cleveland, Detroit, or Boston when things when shit hits the fan and it gets real tight. But this definitely could be one of those like, oh, I can't believe they just got knocked out in the first round like that. This could be that type of series. So do not be shocked if New York falls. This would just further push them that they need to go get Giannis, which is already a trade that I think that they are pretty much in the lead for. Outside of them, though, like I said, it's really going to be coming down to Detroit, Cleveland, and Boston. If I have to pick somebody, I'm going to pick Boston. You know, Jason Tatum coming back has made all the difference in the world. You already had Jaylen Brown, who was playing as well as he has. So with them adding Jason Tatum back, with him potentially getting even more and more into a rhythm now that the playoffs are here and he's going to be going all out, I just feel like they're going to assert themselves as the best team in the East. I like Detroit and I like what they have going on. I just think they're a little too young. I'm a big fan of Cade. I like what they have going on. I think next year and just years down the road, they could continue to be good because I feel like they're building some nice. But this just does not seem to be their year, especially when, let's be honest, even if they come out of the East, it's probably not going to result in a championship. Now, the team that I also mentioned, Cleveland, I have to include them as a contender because they are this is the last year's number one seed. They have not really done too much to make themselves appear worse on paper. You know, they added James Harden, but that is the big crux for me. James Harden has gotten such a reputation for being a playoff choker and just not coming through when teams need him the most, that I don't really find any reason to think that this is going to be the year that he bucks the trend. I don't believe that this is going to be the year that they just change everything up, that all of a sudden they get to the Eastern Conference Finals or they get to the finals. I just don't have a real reason to believe in him, in my opinion, and he is the biggest reason. I don't think that when you have him being such an important part of your team and you're pretty much banking on him coming through, that he's going to do it. So I just don't really see too many options, realistic options outside of Detroit or Boston when it comes to who's going to come out and take all this. I could be wrong. Cleveland could surprise me. If New York is able to get through this gauntlet that they're probably going to end up having to run, then I think they're going to stand a really good chance in the finals. But at the end of the day, man, I just don't see it coming through for them. Now, on the West is where things get really interesting. That's where you have just a lot of teams that can literally lay a claim to saying that they might be the ones to win it this year. You've got OKC as the number 1 seed. You've got San Antonio as the number 2. Denver is at number 3. You have the Lakers at 4, Rockets at 5, the Timberwolves at 6, and then 7th seed is the Phoenix Suns. 8th seed is then the Clippers, and the 10th seed is the Warriors. I feel like that it's still the same amount of teams, but I feel like with these 4 teams I'm going to name on the West, each of them actually has a chance to really come out and win something, to really come out and get that title. Those teams, of course, being OKC, who I'm not even going to lie to y'all, I still think they're the favorite. They're still who I'm picking, and I'm going to get into that in a second. I'd give Denver a lot of chance just because Jokic is still, I love Shea, and I think that he's the best guard in the league. But at the end of the day, Jokic is the best player on the planet right now. I don't think that's really up for a debate. The run he's been on has been amazing. San Antonio, you've got Wemby, who is going to be the best player in the world very, very soon. Some people might say he's that already. And I'm going to say that I do believe that the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards has shown that he can get hot, that the team can just sort of get hot at the right moment and they can just go on a run. I did have a lot of faith in the Lakers at the beginning of the year. I was hoping that this would be the year that Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves would be able to make something happen in the playoffs. But with Luka and Austin Reeves being hurt, I just don't see how that's going to get done. LeBron is as great as he is, literally one of the top 3 players of all time without debate. I don't know if he's juice left in his tank to really propel them to a finals run the way that he was back when he was just pulling a whole bunch of motherfuckers with him in Cleveland out there. This is an older LeBron. I just don't see it being done. Guess on how things are going to play out for them. I'm going to say that OKC and Houston end up meeting each other in the second round. That Denver and Minnesota series is really, really hard for me to pick, but I'm going to lean towards just picking Denver. And San Antonio, they're not going to be beat by anybody other than Denver or OKC. I'll just say that right now. There's no other team that's really going to get in there and do anything. It's those 4 teams that are really going to be deciding who ends up getting into the finals. Whoever comes out of that gauntlet in the West, like, at least if they've been beat up too much, expecting that team to win the finals. It's just the West is just better. I'm a Bulls fan, so I got love for these Eastern teams, but when it really comes down to it, it is the West teams that have all the talent right now. They've got the star power. They've got the units. So I don't have any reason to think that it's not going to be a West Coast team that fully takes this. Now, I will say the Celtics are the team that could do it. Like, if there's any team that just managed to come out of the East, it's only the Celtics that I think really have a chance of being able to win that title. But I think that would have to come as a result of one of these West Coast teams just beating each other up and then hobbling into that finals matchup. Because I don't see any way that any Eastern team is going to be able to overcome everything that they have going against them. Now, players to watch, things to really keep your eye on just individual-wise. Like I said, Anthony Edwards is always a great guy to watch in the playoffs. I feel like he turns up his game and he showcases his star power. You've got LeBron out there who's going to be having to do a lot of heavy lifting with everybody else being hurt on the Lakers. So expect him to come out and show and just showcase himself. You've got Wemby out there in San Antonio. This is a guy who's already made it publicly clear he wants to be the face of the league. He's not running from that responsibility. He's not running from just that challenge. So this is his first real playoffs to come out and establish himself and dominate. I expect him to do that. Expect to see some big shit from Wemby if able to stay healthy and be upright for all of these games. It's going to be a show whenever Wemby is on the court during these NBA playoffs. I promise you that. But it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. These are just my predictions. I'd love to hear what all of y'all have to say. So, like I said, make sure you like and comment in everything below. If you disagree with what I'm saying, if you think that there's going to be a team in the East that's going to win it, let me know. Because I'm going to tell y'all right now, I just don't see how Shea and OKC isn't going to get this done again. I think it's going to come down to OKC against San Antonio in the Western Conference Finals. And I just think that experience is going to, even if it's just a little bit more, it's going to play the biggest part in who wins that matchup. Because having trouble with San Antonio during the regular season, but the playoffs are a whole different animal. So those are predictions. I'm excited to hear what y'all got to say. So let me know in the comments. All right, everybody. It's your boy German. Like you already know, it's been another weekly edition of Sports Talk. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and watching and doing everything that you do to keep me motivated. The only way you can do more is, like, follow, subscribe, comment. I tell you it so many times, but it means so much when you do it every single time. So, with all that being said, make sure that you do all that so that you are up to date on whenever we drop something new. And without anything else to say, just continue to be good people, continue to drink a lot of water, tell your friends and family you love them, and continue to stay up to date and in tune with Kinetic Aesthetic. It's your boy Germ, and I'm out.